Hey everyone, so today we're going to look at the crisis our planet is in, but through a totally different lens. It's a spiritual perspective that says the health of our world is directly tied to the state of, well, all of us. Okay, let's get into it.
The whole idea we're digging into today kicks off with this really stark and, honestly, pretty powerful statement. It suggests that the fundamental building blocks of our world, earth, water, air, all of it, are in some kind of deep distress.
And that naturally leads us to the two huge questions that are going to guide this whole explainer. What's the real reason for all this suffering? And from this point of view, what's the only thing that can actually fix it?
All right, so first up, let's get a handle on the problem itself. This first part is all about the shift from a planet that was once in harmony to the one we see today, which is pretty much defined by chaos.
So the source is basically painting this picture of two completely different worlds. In the way back when past, the idea is that the elements were pure, and because of that, the planet was a place of total peace. But now, that purity is gone, and the result isn't just a side effect, it's presented as the direct cause for the natural disasters and all the unrest we see everywhere.
Now, there's actually a specific name for this state of corruption, Tamo Guna. It's a concept from Hindu philosophy, and it basically means a state of total impurity and degradation. And we're not just talking about, physical pollution. This is described as something much deeper, a fundamental decay that's at the very core of our planet's imbalance.
Okay, so if the elements are in this Tamo Guna state, the next question is obvious. Why? How did we get here? Let's dig into what the source says is the root cause.
And this is where things take a really sharp turn. The source claims the problem isn't some outside force acting on us. No, it's internal. The root of all this decay, this Tamo Guna, is us.
So here's the crucial point. It's our collective inner state that is corrupting the outer world. The idea is that things like our widespread negative thinking, all the unethical stuff, anger, violence, jealousy, these aren't just social issues. They're described as a kind of spiritual pollution that directly infects and taints the five elements of nature.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, if we're the problem, then we must be the solution, right? Well, this is where the source material throws a major curveball. It argues that the problem has now grown way beyond anything humans can fix on their own. And this quote, wow, it really gives you a sense of the sheer scale of the issue here. It paints this picture of our world and even our entire solar system being totally boxed in by negativity. A barrier so huge it's compared to vast mountains. It's a really powerful metaphor for a problem that's become cosmic in size. And the conclusion from that is pretty stark. No amount of human effort is going to cut it. Not even our most powerful spiritual movements or individual good intentions are enough to break through these mountains of deeply rooted negative forces.
So if we can't solve it, then who can? And this brings us to the ultimate turning point in this whole narrative, the idea of a power that exists completely beyond the human realm.
To back this up, the source points to a really key verse from the Bhagavad Gita, one of the most sacred texts in Hinduism. It's presented as a direct promise from Lord Krishna, saying, essentially, when things get really bad, when righteousness fades and unrighteousness takes over, a supreme power will show up to restore the balance.
And that just reinforces the core solution being proposed here. The idea is that all this built-up negativity is so deep-seated that only the energy of what's called a supreme power or an almighty authority has the juice to actually cleanse the world and bring the elements back to their pure original state. Now this is where things get really interesting because it sets up this fascinating conflict between a traditional, super long cosmic calendar and the urgent crises we are all facing right now. Let's see how that plays out.
So, according to traditional Hindu cosmology, specifically the calculations of a 4th century astronomer named Aryabhata, we're in an age known as the Kali Yuga. And based on his work, this era is supposed to have more than 427,000 years left to go.
And this slide really gets to the heart of the paradox. On one side, you have this cosmic timeline that says, hey, just wait it out for a few 100,000 years, it'll all sort itself out. But on the other side, just look around. We have global warming, so much unrighteousness, and just immense human suffering that is screaming for action right now. So the source basically puts this powerful question out there. The argument is that the amount of pain and decay in the world has hit a point where just waiting for the natural end of some cosmic cycle, well, it's just not an option anymore. The situation is just too severe. And we end on this final, really provocative thought.
It frames this very moment as a critical tipping point. The message is one of extreme urgency, suggesting that the window for any meaningful change is closing fast. And it leaves all of us to think about the ultimate stakes. If action isn't taken now, will there be anything left worth saving?